Welcome to Happily Ever Aftermath.
The podcast where we discuss relationships in movies and our relationships with them.
I'm Polina Grenville.
And I'm Diana Rojek-Sconard.
Hello, Diana.
Hi, Polina.
How are you doing?
I had to grapple with this whole movie involving animal torture.
I'm sorry.
Was it a metaphor? I missed it.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
It could have been. Because, or subtext.
That's too much English literature.
Anyway, we're going to, speaking of things you might have read in English literature, we're going to do some Tennessee Williams. We're going to do, we're doing 1958's Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, which is my movie.
That's going to be the extent of my jokes.
Yeah. Just every... I mean, it's hard with a clause with a tin roof, because it doesn't, you don't get much purchase. And then the sound.
Poor cat.
I know. Poor Maggie the cat. Anyway.
No, I had no sympathy for her.
Really?
No.
I
had very little sympathy for everyone in this movie.
There's not really, the redeeming, there's actually a whole, the redeeming character of this. But,
well, here's what
not uncommon with Tennessee Williams plays.
But here's what I didn't really like. The fact that when I searched the runtime of this, when you recommended it, I'm like, 2 hours, 24 minutes, Polina. And then I watched it. I'm like, this is not long.
No, it wasn't nearly as long.
No, it was 1 hour 48. And I'm like, what is?
I kind of wish it was, because I think that often.
Were we missing something?
Going to be they changed the play.
I read the trivia, so yes, they did. But I don't know the play, so how would I know?
Oh, okay.
Talk to me.
Let's talk.
Talk to me about this movie.
And let's talk about why.
Your selection.
Okay, so let me give you the little synopsis.
Okay.
That's what we usually do. Okay, after Brick Pollitt, played by Paul Newman, injures himself while drunkenly revisiting his high school sports star days, he and his tempestuous wife, Maggie, visit his family's Mississippi plantation for the 65th birthday of his hot-tempered father. That's one way of putting it. Big Daddy, played with genius by Burl Ives. That's my opinion, not the. So this is from the Google overview, and I'm not going to finish it because I don't know. I just don't like it. Nominations, a bunch of Academy Awards.
Did not mention because
I don't really feel like reading them.
Well, no, Maggie, played by Elizabeth Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You went past that.
Oh, so. Did I? Oh, I'm so sorry. That's crazy.
I know. That's why I was just like, what's happening?
But right you're now? But it's. I just feel like everyone should know it's Elizabeth Taylor. Maybe that was it. That's my excuse.
Well, I didn't know. Also, I really had to go. I'm like,
did you ever see this movie?
I had never seen this movie
sorry,
before.
Sorry, I cut you off.
What
were you about to say?
Well, what I was about to say is his name Rick? What is his name?
I know.
It's Brick. Is his brother named Cooper? Goober. Yeah, neither of them have names. Sister
They're like
wife?
Sister.
It's sister.
It's
sister.
Whoa.
Is it wife? No,
it's sister.
Sister woman.
Sister woman. Oh my God, why am I? It's Sister Woman, and
so Big Daddy, which actually gave me a golden.
her real name
flashback.
is May. That's the thing. I thought it was listed. That's what.
Really? Are you sure her name wasn't Baby Making Machine?
Oh my
God! She got no respect. Not that she deserved it.
She didn't really deserve it. Yeah.
She didn't really deserve it, but no respect.
No respect.
I didn't like a lot of the people in this movie, but it was compelling.
Oh, good.
It was very compelling.
Oh, good.
Especially when I realized it wasn't 2 hours and 24 minutes.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah, that would be. You're like this.
Okay.
For 2 hours and 24 minutes. Okay, so I will talk about why, and then I will talk about which will be
set the stage. The year is 1958. Where were you?
The year is 1958. I was
in Jersey.
I was somewhere in a past life.
Still in Jersey.
Yeah. My mother was 8 and living in Leningrad in the former Soviet Union.
Holy crap! My mother was also 8 and living in Guam.
Oh, perfect. See,
practically the same woman.
Probably. Actually, our mothers have never been in the same room, and I have never met your mother, so I actually have no idea they could be the same woman.
Oh wow. Clark Kent.
I mean, Guam and
Clark Kent and your mom.
Yeah.
Same person.
Same person. My mother, that wouldn't surprise me. My mother is a mysterious woman.
Cool.
Intense and mysterious. Anyway, so I probably came to this movie not so much as a movie, but for
the play.
The play. I was up. So when I discovered, I probably read Tennessee Williams in school, or maybe not, but I don't know. My parents probably saw play. Anyway, I was really really into him, and Cat in a Hot Tin Roof was. I felt like there was a lot of like kind of phases of my sort of teenage years that were like different, like that I probably gravitated toward different plays of his. This one, I was sort of, I was taking acting classes. I was into that. Mm-hmm. I think I discovered this before I ended up like thinking I wanted to be a director, but I actually ended up being a stage manager in theater, like a tech stagehand, theater tech builder person.
Did you ever take part in a production of a Tennessee Williams play?
Yes, okay. But I did not. I think I like in sort of little short things for classes. I did scenes from this play.
Monologues,
but also like scenes.
Okay.
And including, and actually also one, I think the first time I ever did when I was like 12 is Glass Menagerie. God, I was a weird kid. It was like a theater camp.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I think less, I have to admit, less this movie that I saw 1,000 times, but the play I reread 1,000 times, which brings me to like kind of a weird point. So, okay. But before I get to that, I want to talk about the other thing, because I saw this movie, I saw this movie once in a theater. There was this, in the summer, I lived in Princeton, New Jersey, and in the summer, the university would have these like movie programs that I don't actually know who ran them, but they were just like, they were in the movie theater, like where like if you were a film student at Princeton, you would probably take most of your classes, which was this beautiful, like wonderful, really cozy with air conditioning because it's New Jersey in the summer, theater with really comfy seats and beautiful blonde wood. It was built in the 60s.
Interesting detail.
Yeah, it was just great. I just remember sitting there, and I remember going there with my dad a lot, my mom, and they had like, it was like, you know, I don't know, I saw Stop Making Sense, and then the next day it was Yojimbo the Bodyguard, and then the Talking Heads play. I mean, the Talking Heads film.
Oh, I was about
Stop
to say.
Making Sense, and then the...
Okay, because when I was there,
film.
I saw Stop or My Mom Will Shoot and The Bodyguard.
That makes sense,
okay.
But you yeah.
Okay.
But it was just, and Jimbo the Bodyguard's a Kurosawa film. So, anyways, who's like it's like my father's favorite movie. And he, anyway, I saw it in the theater there, and then I've seen it. I think the first time though I saw it was probably on like PBS when I was grounded on Saturday night when they showed old movies.
I was about to say, PBS did that?
Yeah.
What were they trying to educate you about?
I don't know. They just showed old movies on Saturdays and Fridays.
Wow.
They still do.
So they ran out of programming, so they had to put movies on.
Yeah.
Just like real school.
Why is PBS school?
I don't know. That's my understanding that's how they tried to teach us things at home.
Oh, okay.
Sesame Street.
That is
Mr.
true,
Rogers.
but that's, yeah. Okay, you're right.
And third thing that PBS would watch.
Yeah.
Wait,
well, embarrassingly for me, it was a lot of things because I was a weird, nerdy kid, and not in a cool way.
That didn't become cool until later.
Yeah, well, exactly, and it never the way I was nerdy never became cool. Aww. But that's okay. I found my people. Who cares? So anyway, dealing with that trauma.
PBS.
So I think I saw this. So the first time I saw this would have been one of those times. And, I love Paul Newman and Elizabeth Taylor, especially this era of Elizabeth Taylor. I love National Velvet. I even read the book. And before I saw the movie.
Wait. So back up a few steps. Blue Velvet.
National Velvet.
Okay, National Velvet.
This is my childhood, not yours.
Oh Lord,
Blue Velvet was much later. I was a teenager. I wouldn't have gotten to see it as a child.
I didn't see Blue Velvet until later on.
Okay. That's good. That's probably
Polina,
best.
this is how I make small talk. I take one word, I run with it.
Nice. I feel so listened to.
National Velvet. That is a.
It's a movie with Elizabeth Taylor.
Thank you.
It's about a young girl in Wales who goes to win some big horse competition. I don't know. If you like that kind of thing, I think it's great.
Okay.
But anyway, I love her. I love Paul Newman.
We're about to show the gap between you and myself. Yes. I want you to finish before I start making more jokes.
Okay.
Is that I'm done? I can do it now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So Elizabeth Taylor, I unfortunately know her from the fact that Charlotte named her dog that from Sex and the City. That's not true. I know who Elizabeth Taylor is.
I was going to say.
I just don't necessarily. Okay. The White Diamonds lady. Come on now.
Yeah.
No, I know she's not that either.
You know, she did
a lot of movies, but unfortunately by the time I started paying attention, she was the married 8 times kind of the, way back in the day, but she had a, big career. I just happen to have not seen anything. Mm-hmm. Paul Newman, great salad dressing.
Really? Nothing before that?
Not really. I mean, I listened to a lot of Adam Carolla, so he loved talking about Paul Newman, the race car driver, not Paul Newman, the actor. Well, so seeing this in the movie, I know he's like hearing women gush about Paul Newman, and then I'm just like, okay. And then seeing this, it's like, oh, okay, I get it.
Right.
I get it.
Right. Okay. I am so glad because because I feel like sometimes it's like you see some, and especially if you kind of encounter them when you're a teenager and then you show them to someone later, didn't have that experience or when you encounter them as a kid and you're like, oh my God, and they don't get it. I don't know why I thought of this, but I remember when I was the New Year's when I was 13, which my dad went to bed, and my mom and I...
Just like a dad.
Yeah, I mean, it was 3. My mom and I...
Oh, so we made it then.
Oh, in my family, you never not make it.
Oh, that's right, I forgot. That's a thing.
Oh, that's my parents get mad if I go to bed at 3, this time.
On a normal day?
No, on New Year's. So, okay. No, you never not make it. Yeah, it's a really big holiday in my family.
Got it.
And we count down together.
Aww.
And then sometimes they call me on the West Coast,
which is funny because my family likes
to 3.
Yeah, well, my family likes to sleep, so we celebrate East Coast New Year's and then we go to sleep.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. Yeah, I worry it's going to happen one day with my parents. It makes me sad. But anyway, I mean, for just because it means they're getting older.
Well,
I mean, my mother was sick once and she went to bed at 12:10 or 12:10. Mm-hmm. That's fine. That doesn't make me sad. People are ill. But if it's I don't want to, yeah. I mean, my family isn't good at sleeping. We enjoy it.
Oh.
But none of us are particularly excel at it. It's just, it's a very, it's aspirational or
is it like work? Yes, we do this.
Yeah.
Actually, you excel at work, so what am I talking about?
You're very nice. No, I think my parents do too. But regardless, so where were we? Oh,
salad
so
dressing.
I watched, for some reason, it was probably on PBS. They were re-showing there's this Elvis Presley live concert, and it's the one where he's wearing a leather jacket. He's wearing a whole leather, but it's black and he's thin. It's thin Elvis, and he's wearing a black motorcycle jacket and black leather pants.
That's Fonzie, honey. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, and my mom my mom was like, she was a little drunk and I'd had a little bit of champagne, and she was like trying to explain to me, and I think she was worried that I wouldn't get it about why he was attractive.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Because it was just my mom and I, and it was kind of this thing of like, it was like the first time I felt like we were kind of it was one of those moments where you feel like you're too adult, like you can imagine yourself being friends suddenly and not just parents.
Okay.
Because you're like, oh, we're just two women kind of giggling and crushing out on Elvis Presley.
Okay.
But it wasn't weird. Now that I say it, it sounds, I mean, it wasn't like there wasn't a lot of thirst. It was more like, but I remember her being like, I'm so glad that you get why this guy is attractive, because it would have been kind of insane otherwise.
So it was important to your mom that you understood why she thought Elvis was attractive.
Yeah, kind of. Just sort of that thing of like, I don't know. I'm not telling the story very well. My point is sort of that like,
well, remember who
like
your
when
audience is.
When you're like, yes, that is true. I get it. But it was more that like,
it's me, by the way.
You understand what, like, because Elvis, like Elvis was a sex symbol, right?
Not in my realm, but keep talking.
But yes, he was originally.
Okay.
So, but Paul Newman, I want to say the hips, like people were, preachers were like very upset and the sound. Anyway, it was a whole thing. And this was that Elvis, not like fat. Like
some people would say it doesn't matter.
It really kind of doesn't, to be honest. But still. Okay, Paul Newman, I am very glad. That's the important part of this. I may cut out that whole Elvis story, but I think...
Well, you can't now.
I can, because I do all the editing.
But I'm going to keep referencing Elvis this whole time to make sure that...
Like your mom and Elvis. Like you, when you were 13 on New Year's Eve at Elvis. Like when your father went to...
Remember how the preachers were so angry about Elvis?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned
earlier.
Like
you mentioned earlier that you can't cut. I'm going to cut every single... No. You're like, I'm going to catch her in a week. She's busy. She doesn't have time. Okay, so I am glad. So what was it? Yeah, what was it that you...
What's attractive about that man? His attractiveness.
His attractiveness is pretty attractive.
So Elvis, you know how Elvis is attractive?
Yeah,
it's like that.
It's like that. But but like Paul Newman, like.
Okay, so it's the eyes.
Oh my God, the eyes.
And also he's in very good shape. Okay, I will tell you this.
Oh yeah.
I was not endeared to him in the beginning when he was drinking and then he was jumping the hurdles. And then when he fell, I'm like, oh, I've done that.
Yeah.
I've tripped over
I know,
a
and I'm
hurdle.
like, I've done that when I've been sober.
I've done that when I was sober, so I'm sorry. And then the fact that he like broke his foot as badly as he did.
Oh yeah, no, he doesn't
bad.
look that attractive in the. He's drunk and a little florid, and
so even though I know very little about this movie, it's a play that was made into a movie, and you could feel it in the set pieces. But again, it was still very compelling. It was still very interesting.
Good.
When I read more about it later, I liked that a lot of it still came together, because as I'm watching that, I'm listening to the conversations that Brick and Maggie are having, and the complaining and the fighting and just the animosity between the two of them. And I couldn't. Are you meant to not fully understand the story?
So this is what's weird. Okay, so as I said, like a lot of to me, I think, one of the differences between watching it now and watching it then was severalfold. I think one, I don't remember, even though I was super into the play, I don't remember being as focused on the ways that it was different. And one of the one is shorter. So a couple of ways really, and actually
Hour 48.
Yeah. And actually, both Paul Newman and Elizabeth Taylor were like really bothered by this.
I did read about
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I have to say I didn't go so
funny
deep.
Because the studio was really bothered by the play.
Well, actually, it wasn't them. It was a Hayes Act thing. So this was made in 1958, and the Hayes Act did not get lifted until 1960. And when I was saying this fun fact to my husband, he asked me, "Oh, well, why? Like, what causes it to be lifted?" And I was like, "I'm going to look that up before our podcast," and never did. And so, but we'll have to put this out on some social media. Maybe this Twitter thing I've been hearing about.
Maybe if you vamp, I can look it up while you're doing it.
Okay, maybe. Okay, so in the play, I just want to say the play makes it so friggin' clear, because actually Maggie keeps wanting him to talk about it. So it sort of got that's kind of the famous thing or the standard thing everyone knows about it. Like, oh, they kept it under, they kept the erotic context is really hidden. But I'm like, did they see the same movie I did? Like maybe because I know the play, but I'm like, man, like, I don't know. You're like, what other explanation could we possibly have? But in the play, it's explicit.
Oh, see, that's where you have me come into play.
Okay.
Because as a pure-minded person, first of all, me watching this, I'm just like, so is he gay?
Yeah. See?
Is he gay? But more along the lines of just like, is he gay and they did stuff together? Is he gay and they're denying it? Is he gay like they're having an affair? Did she catch them? Did she not know?
Okay, so basically, they never quite. So
answer my question. He's gay, right?
Oh yeah, like him and Skipper.
But he's just so attractive. How can he be gay?
Well,
that doesn't. I don't get it. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. It's just an odd thing to say.
A man that good looking cannot be gay, Polina.
Is it really?
I learned a lot of things that aren't right.
That's not right. Actually, I probably shouldn't tell the story about my father, but
see that you can cut.
Yeah. Okay. So
why is it that every time I look up the Hayes Act, it keeps taking me to acceptance and commitment therapy?
I don't know.
Oh, it was written by Stephen Hayes.
Interested.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the play, basically, she keeps trying to get him to admit that. It keeps trying to get. I mean, first off, it's pretty clear, at least in the play, it's pretty clear that he's that he also is attracted to Maggie, and actually is kind of there's
he's bi?
Yeah, I think. Anyway, but I mean that's my interpretation because him and Skipper definitely, like a big part of it is that Maggie is trying to get him to just talk about it. Like you have to admit, I knew, and that whole thing where she slept with Skipper is very different in the play.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So it's. Basically, there's this whole really amazing speech she gives where she's like, we slept together because we were both so madly in love with you. We were trying to kind of have a little each of them got a piece of brick. And it was sort of like they were sleeping with that to try to get at that piece because they were both kind of, they each got a piece of brick that the other one couldn't have. And the other thing, I mean, this is one interpretation. There are like a million of them. The other thing is
there an interpretation where he's not gay?
No.
Oh. What about the movie?
Yeah, they tried that, and look how well that went. And you were like, is he gay?
Is he gay?
But basically it's like his self-hatred too. So It's a lot about that. And then and also basically that the whole incident with the two of them, with Skipper, she basically tells the story and she's like, no, we're actually, so it was like, we're going to talk about this. That is still there. Mm-hmm. But she says that at one point it was the same thing. He was out of the game. Skipper played a game, but it was actually not that he wasn't good enough. It's that he was drunk.
Oh,
and
it kind of matters.
Yeah, it kind of matters.
Well,
but they have to make up some subtext about why it's such a big deal.
But
I guess.
Not drunk because of the Hays Code again.
No, I don't think the drunk thing. No. I think it's more that they had to be like, oh, you guys were best friends, and you that's why you hung out. It doesn't really make sense. To be honest, there's not a lot of logic. And so the play makes a ton more sense.
I could see that.
Because, so basically, at one point, so Maggie and Skipper, and I'm just going to say this really quickly, and then we'll talk about the actual movie. Maggie basically turns to Skipper, and they'd had a bunch of drinks, and says, you have to stop loving my husband. And he slaps her in the face.
Okay.
slaps her across the face.
Wait, who slaps her? Skipper?
Skipper slaps her.
Okay.
And is like, how dare you say, this thing? And then kind of confesses, and then she comes to him later. Anyway, I will try to find it. I mean, I'm sure it's in the public domain. I will try to find the exact scene, and then we can link to it. But it's kind of interesting. It adds a little bit. And then the other difference is that he doesn't have that big reconciling with his father. Like that.
I read that part of it, and I'm just like, oh, that's not great.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot more sense because it's just about a bit of that less. But yeah, it kind of made me sad too, because I was kind of like, oh, it's nice because they're two men. Like, I think that the reason they have that relationship is because they kind of understand each other.
But I think because the movie was eliminating so much important conflict in
they had to almost make it shoehorn it.
Like, quick, make this a father-son movie.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah, exactly. And
he's disappointed because he's not living up to his potential.
Yeah.
And he's not gay.
Yeah. And anyway, but there's a lot to, so I think some of the reasons that I was really, I was saying that I was into this particular play especially when I started, and movie, is one, I think, Elizabeth Taylor is uncommonly beautiful, and those eyes, and they actually, so, at the time they were doing they would do serious movies in black and white, and they did this one in color because they're like, we can't put Elizabeth Taylor and Paul Newman in a movie and then not see either of their eyes. That would be insane.
Right.
So,
kind of like how in Judge Dredd they couldn't keep Sylvester Stallone behind the helmet the whole time.
Yeah, just like that.
Exactly like that.
Actually, it is like that.
In fact, that's how he got his contract renewed for that movie.
I did not know.
Yeah,
I've never seen Judge Dredd.
You don't need to see Judge Dredd.
Oh, thank God.
Well, no. Okay, so if I may go back to that, so the Hays Code. Well, it was a long ass Wikipedia article. We will not link to the show notes for this, but basically it was saying there were a number of Supreme Court cases that were challenging it, and it kept movies kept just saying hey, we're going to put this out anyways. Hey, we're going to put this out anyways. Yeah, and eventually
because there wasn't much legal stuff behind it.
Eventually, it became abandoned. And they replaced it with the MPAA film rating system. Yeah. So,
but at that and
even then,
and then remember we were talking about one of the Thin Man movies, and we were talking about pre-code.
Yeah,
it's the Hays Code that we were.
Yes, we were. About. I was thinking about that when you talked about that, and when I said
tying it back.
Well, the whole thing about Skipper.
It's the only thing I remember from our 2 years of doing this podcast.
Well, it's also about Skipper being drunk, and when I said, "Oh, is it because of the Hays Code?" and I remembered, no, there was a lot of drinking in the Thin Man.
No. They had no issue with drinking.
Well, then again, that was pre the Hays. Code,
Hays Code. No, it wasn't. It was it was a lot. Most of it was sex. That's mostly the problem.
Is it that the number one cause by alcohol?
They were no. I think it was that. They were oh, movies are supposed to be. Are supposed to. Show the world they didn't want them corrupting America, and I guess
let's show them a lot of violence.
Let's show them a lot of violence instead. Mm-hmm. That's why we don't have a lot of that's the carryover. Anyway, it's and it's the rating system. But anyway, okay. Off of that, so I think one of the things I'm going to say just about this, and then we can talk about the actual movie. But my thing was that I think for me especially because I did do this movie in scene class or whatever, it was so much about sort of, sort of trying to figure out, it was another movie where I was trying to figure out how to be, what being sexy and how I was going to, do that. The other thing I think I realized in rewatching this and also rereading the play recently, which I really recommend if you're into it, it takes an hour, is also that especially when you're a teenager, the most attractive thing is sort of you're you would do anything for love, and that's the thing. Maggie will do anything, and I recognize that really took me a long time to figure out how to have a good argument with a romantic partner, because I think that, probably the reason I was sort of tied to Tennessee Williams is because so much of this sort of style of you're just gonna you're gonna fight this out, and you're gonna fight to the death, kind of, and you're gonna and you're gonna get the love that you want. You're gonna just get it, and if you just explain it to them the right way, they're gonna give it to you. Like, I think I didn't now, like, looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But then it was like, this is noble. This is the way to do it, you know? And it seemed very romantic, her, like, and granted, like, to me too, as I think we've noticed, I'm much more attracted to the tragic love stories than the...
Yeah, when Harry met Sally.
Well, except for, I mean,
I'm messing with you.
yeah.
Go on.
That one, I mean, that's the thing. I'm a total sucker. But, like, I definitely noticed, like, there's this thing running through me of, like, the, kind of bad ending.
Well, no, it's real.
Yeah.
It's, not everything is shiny happy.
Yeah.
And, not everything is, the simple misunderstandings of, like, a lot of, rom-coms or just more fun, romantic movies. Instead, if you look at, the deep gut-wrenching... Yeah, can be impactful.
Yeah, and this, like, I mean, also I think, like, I think back to, of course, it was like I had this sense of, like, especially when you're a teenager and when you're like attracted to someone or you have this huge crush on someone,
right?
That feeling is so strong, and that you cannot, especially when you have a little bit of it, and then, like, there was a breakup. I think I discovered. This after a breakup, but this thing of, like, you're like, I need to do something with this desire because it's its own thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, how can something this strong just go away?
Okay.
Like, how can this is its own entity. It's like trying to knock over the, it's like demolishing a building. Like, it's a building. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't just, like, ignore a building, it's just like an edifice. Anyway, I think that's what it was about this movie.
You're deeply tied to the play, the movie, all of that's happening through here. I mean, what other important points do you want to make sure? I want to make sure you don't miss anything.
That's it.
That's it.
I think that's my big one, because now I want to hear about your either your experience or your thoughts, or, like.
Well, I like the Italian dressing. And no, not just okay.
So
fine.
there's no. Oh my God! Can we do a Paul Newman month?
Well, you should have told me earlier.
I didn't think of it.
What are we gonna do? Cars?
We could do Cars.
How would we do Cars?
There's so many.
Okay, I'm listening.
Anyway, okay.
First
we don't. It's we can list Paul Newman movies later.
Well, I can't, but because he was in Cars, he was in The Color of Money. He's in The Hustler, not to be confused with the J-Lo movie Hustlers.
No. Okay. Anyway,
Nobody's Fool.
Oh my God.
I can play this movie.
No. See, you're good.
I know who Paul Newman is.
I know.
He's not in my wheelhouse.
That's
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Damn, I'm good.
See?
But okay. I'm sorry. Calm down.
That's okay. I'm glad. That was nice. That was fun.
This is how I react when you ask if we can have a theme month when we're already talking about the movie.
You just list movies.
Well, I'm trying to explain. I don't know how we can do a theme month when his movie is Cars.
Well, those are all your movies.
No,
anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm not going to discuss our theme month. Let's go back to you and Paul Newman.
For the record, I've seen none of these movies. That's actually kind of my point. I've seen none of these movies.
I will take a whole month to myself.
I'm stealing the equipment and going home.
Hey.
Oh, that's right. You have your own. Okay, well, I knew nothing about this movie.
Yeah.
I knew as much as you said when I Googled it. And then that's everything I knew about it.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Elizabeth Taylor. I didn't know it was Paul Newman.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was a Tennessee Williams play. I didn't know the actual runtime because Google lied to me. I knew nothing about it. I didn't know what Cat on a Hot Tin Roof meant.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what time frame it was supposed to be. Didn't realize it was meant to be in the South.
Mm-hmm.
I knew nothing about this. I knew of its existence.
Yeah, but
there
then
is a movie.
But then, and then you saw it now. And so, what was the?
Oh,
yeah.
As I mentioned before, reading about how the subtext was removed, I'm just like,
and yet was still there, obviously.
It's there because
I mean, it's not really a subtext in the play. Like it's just text.
Well, how about
they
this?
removed the text
They removed
and then
the text.
added subtext.
Well, they removed the text and subtext was created.
Yes.
For the movie, so that was there. Like I mentioned before, so when I watched this, all I could think was, wow, this movie really reminds me of the movie Greedy, which it's probably in nobody's radar because this is a 1994 movie.
What was it about?
It's Kirk Douglas and Michael J. Fox, and Michael J. Fox plays the grandkid of Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas. He's a patriarch, and everyone wants his money because the man has a crap ton of money from construction. So everyone is just kissing his ass, and you have all of these grandkids just trying to get at his money.
Yeah.
And so you have the kids who are named after him. He's Uncle Joe, but this is Jolene and Joette because they're trying so hard to just kiss his ass, and trying to play certain things. And so in order to get the money, they dig up the one great-grandkid that he liked was eventually played by Michael J. Fox because his father and him had a fall.
Because that's a big thing is like basically
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy, it's not just his birthday. He ends up basically he's just gone to somewhere.
Some version of like the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was like some version of the Mayo Clinic
that didn't exist.
Or Johns Hopkins, which I think did exist then.
It didn't have the reputation. How about that? It was not the greatest of. How about this? Wherever he went to had the reputation for the most thorough, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Which like Johns Hopkins would have been at the time. But regardless.
Back in the 50s?
I think so.
Well, anyway. They didn't say John Hopkins in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Regardless, like he went to some place, and I could be wrong with that.
I'm going to live forever.
And basically they don't tell him that he's going to die, but they all actually get together and they're all trying to get into the will.
Yeah.
The two brothers, or actually both of their wives, the brother and Brick's younger brother, Goober. Or is he younger? No,
he's the older brother.
Older brother, yeah.
At least in the movie, he's the older brother.
Yeah, he's the older brother.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Based on what the story that
I forgot about that when I was a kid. I just never don't remember that. No. I just like that whole weird subplot
about getting into the will.
Yeah,
like just right in your face.
I mean, not subplot, but like I just didn't. I think I mean, I knew it was there. It just wasn't. It didn't play as central of a role as it did this time that I watched it. And actually, in the play, also, she kind of explained. There's a little more. She's treated a little kinder about that because basically she explained. She's like, I mean, obviously, she's not going to have a lot of earning potential. It's 1958.
Big Mama.
No, Maggie the cat. And so she's basically like, look, I'm, and she's more like, I'm doing this for you. She talks a little bit about that, but it sort of, she comes off really a little less. Yeah.
It really doesn't feel that way.
Well, I mean, she's talking about them. She's like, look, I want to, and she's much more, she takes care of him a lot more in the movie. In the play.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's like a little more like self-preservation, but yeah, it's still a little weird.
I think a lot of wives out there, this is not me kicking my husband specifically, but I think we've all helped our spouses pick out a birthday present. So
yes,
it should get more credit than it seems. Just like, I didn't get my dad a present. Just like, dude, she's helping you out here.
That was actually like such an annoying scene.
Really?
The scene where she's just like, just sign the card. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Because I go through this, like he doesn't want to, at least this one he wants, it's just like, I refuse to, but I was like, oh my God, just sign the friggin' card.
He is.
It's more like, I don't know what to say or whatever. I'm like, oh.
I was about to say, I thought you meant it was an annoying scene in the movie. Not.
Yeah, it was so annoying scene in the movie. I was so annoyed with Brick.
Well, you were.
And then,
okay.
So then I saw him in profile and I was like, I forgive you.
Okay, so it was annoying not to watch because it was a bad scene. It was annoying because it was so real.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure what you meant. I'm just like,
no, thank you for clarifying.
I wasn't that annoyed by it. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, no, honey, this is a real thing.
Yeah, it's totally a real thing.
This is totally real.
I was like, come on.
No. Well, yeah, like first time watching it, I had a Simpsons reference go through my head when just like everyone's fighting. And then, of course, the sister-in-law throws a kid out and tries to make them play something. I'm just like, great. You got the kid playing the piano now.
Yeah.
Basically, it's all it is. And it's just, in the beginning, I'm just like watching Elizabeth Taylor smack ice cream into a kid's face. I'm like, I really don't know whose side to take. I hate them both right now.
I know. I had the same thing.
I don't like that this woman is being so mean towards children, but I have yet to meet this child. Oh, that child deserves this. I hate everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I hate everybody.
And then you're like, oh, she's been, and then you think, like my first thought was like, oh, because I kind of forgot. I was like, oh, she's been there a while. Like that makes sense. You know, like maybe it's like, okay.
Days.
But then it's like a couple days. I was like, all right, girl, come on.
Yeah. Like, no, she didn't just arrive.
Yeah. Like it's one thing if it was like.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was also like if it was like she was there for a month and it was like I can't. You know, she just like loses it.
The kid's a brat.
But she's been there for 2 days. I think she can hold it together.
Oh, 2 days? I thought they were there for longer.
Or like a few days, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So experience minimal. It's an established relationship, so it kind of throws our
I know. I was thinking that too.
But that's
like,
okay, because then we can ask these kind of side questions.
Yeah.
Because the very end of this movie, there's reconciliation. Now, granted, that's not the same in the play. There's reconciliation.
Oh, it is actually with the two of them.
No, reconciliation between the son and father.
Yes,
but not in the play. Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. No. So the whole idea behind it is that in the end, there's lots of yelling, and that's the whole thing of this. It's just like not a lot happens, but there is a lot of yelling, and that's kind of interesting. There's a lot of like that, and again, because it's subtext, but not really.
Well, it's like the family. You know, it's like everyone's lying to me, and it's like, you know, it's a movie about people lying to themselves and everyone else around them.
And they were just,
but everyone's just like I believe in truth, and you know, and it's like that's what's great about it. Like I felt very much like, I mean, not like my family's really like this, but that sort of thing is like, I mean, you know, our dynamic is different, but like that sort of thing is very present in my family. There's a lot of
I kind of get
drama.
that. I kind of get that too when you watch the quick turnaround all that quickly. Like,
yeah,
I try not to declare these things very much, but Ryan and I recently, I came to this realization when he said like, "Oh, honey, see, you believe in justice." I'm like, "Yeah, I do." He's like, "Well, you're not always gonna get it." I'm like, "Aw," you know, because you want to see the people who are like cheating the system or anything else fall on their face or get punished. He's like,
completely.
He's like, "Yeah, of course, that's fine. It's not always gonna happen." I'm like, "Why?" So I just decided to get upset about that instead. But the whole thing about truth, and what's funny is at the end, the father walks out with this lie, you know, in Maggie's favor, but everyone just decides to go with it because it's.
I mean, they fight it, but then they're like,
no. The father. Well, no, the brother. Gooper and his wife say, "You're a liar. You're not pregnant. You're a liar." You know, because you're just trying to get in the will. But his Brick says yes. Big Mama says,
and it's like the first time he really defends her.
Yeah,
I mean, because they're horrible to her. They keep talking about how she can't have children, and he's not sleeping with her.
Well, I was about to,
oh my God,
we can hear you fight through the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then this whole thing of like, oh, all the rooms, like, oh, you can't have privacy in my house.
Right.
That was so messed up.
Well,
but this whole thing with like families and like the open door,
it's pretty bad.
And then it's not your family. And,
oh yeah, that's been said before in my marriage. Okay, here's my question then, because do you think? Because I have a strong inkling that she has loved him and still loves him.
I think she still loves him. Yes.
Do you think he has ever loved her?
Yes.
In the movie, in the play, both?
Both. Well, because one thing you see is, I mean, basically the idea is that they, you know,
because there was a quick second when I thought, as it was going through, I'm just like, was she just a beard? Is she just the pretty beard?
I think so. I mean, I think maybe there's a part of that, but like, you know, in the play, they talk about like at some point they were happy, and it was essentially when...
Well, were they happy or were they happy?
No, I think they were genuinely happy. But the other thing that you see him, and he does this in the play too, where he basically takes... he's in the bathroom, and her negligee is like hanging there, and he sort of leans against it and like breathes in.
Oh.
And it's just like... big scene, because basically he did this. He has turned off affection for her because she said it out loud. She was like, "You are in love with your best friend," and basically, and this is true. And this, they talk about this they keep doing this in the movie where it's like, and they keep doing the thing of like, he's like, "Stop! You're making my relationship with Skipper, and dirty," and. He actually, in the play, he says this to her and she goes, "No, I'm not. I don't think it is. I'm not. I'm actually trying to put sunshine on it. You know, I'm saying it's not. It is. It's just, you guys, you know, so it's like his self-loathing, basically. And there's a lot about like, I don't know, there's a lot of reading about how like, you know, I think Tennessee Williams got before there was like a lot more homosexual subtext. It was more subtext in earlier plays. And this is one where he put it kind of in the forefront. But he sort of talked about, you know, his, like, it's about, you know, your own homophobia and, like, not just society's. And I think at the end, and I think later he was like, well, I don't feel that way anymore. And so these plays were sort of annoying because he's like, we've moved past this. But obviously we didn't.
He moved past his own homophobia?
Yeah, I think there's some sense. But anyway, I don't think he totally did because he kind of writes about that. But anyway, I can try to find that. So the point being that, like, I think he did. I think
he loved her.
I think, yeah. I do kind of think that her sort of thirst for him is a little stronger than his. But I think that, yeah, I do think they're so bound together. I mean, you see, even when he turns away from her, he keeps kind of coming back. Like it seems to take the supreme effort to kind of stay, you know, kind of to like, he never really leaves. He rarely leaves the room.
Okay.
You know, when she's in it.
Well, he does have the cast on, so.
Yeah, but like, you know, he can like.
I know he's capable of moving.
He only leaves in the bathroom. I know, no, they're kind of caught in this thing, and so.
Well, it's also a play.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, it's a film play.
So the reason I asked that is because, given my experience, not with the play itself, but just the movie there and what I've been presented as a story, it's kind of easy for me to say, okay, at the very end, she says that she's pregnant and it's a lie and everyone's calling it out as a lie. But then Big Daddy says, no, that woman's got a thing.
Got life in her.
Thank you. Life in her. She's got life in her. And yes, yeah, you can make a generic statement like that. Sure, of course. She's got life in her. She's got spirit.
But it's also like she's incandescent. I mean, the whole like movie, she is incandescent with like, I mean,
like 40
life.
watts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, more. She's just like this. She's like a
75.
She's just, she's got she's got like, you know, 1,000 Roman candles. She just is this like coiled.
Stop making her a light bulb.
Hey, look, I picked a metaphor and I'm going with it.
Okay.
I guess it's a simile. But
here's what I'm getting at. There's the lie. And at the end, there is this kind of implied reconciliation with like an embrace. And I guess the implication is that what they say to each other is that they're going to try to make that her having a baby a reality. And just having the movie to work with, I can see it being the conversation he had with his father basically saying like, you live your lie, you live this, it's just what you do. Yeah, and they're not exactly saying it's all the truth or it's all a lie or it's both, but instead, because they have reached an understanding, he has come to the conclusion that this is a lie that will make people happy, possibly including himself. So that's why he's going through with it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he is in love with her or back in love with her. So that's why I'm trying to kind of get to the root of that.
Yeah, interesting. No, I think that's another analysis. I guess like.
Because in my version, he is gay. He's not bi.
Okay. Makes sense.
Fully gay.
Fully gay.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah. It's always a binary.
I wrote it down. Gay. Percentage.
I think. Yeah. I mean, I think he is. I think.
And it's just.
I mean, I think it's terrifying. Like, one thing that was interesting to me is seeing there's when Big Daddy is horrible to his wife.
Can you narrow
Big
it down?
Mama,
because he is a lot
all the time. But then there's a couple of scenes where basically she's like, she kind of like is like, he doesn't really mean it, and he used to be really sweet. And that's it. When she starts saying about when he was courting her.
I was wondering about that. Is there like a weird implication that her older child is not necessarily his? Because he says, "I'm going to marry you," and I'm like,
I got that too, and
just a little bit, and that's why he treats him the way he is.
And I had to say, like, I read it really quickly because I didn't have a ton of time, and I kind of focused more on, like I think I have every other time is like kind of like Maggie and Brick, and Brick and Big Daddy, but like I think that he, it was like, I felt like, and I saw this in Maggie, is basically, she's like, oh, is this going to be my future? Because there's that moment of like, oh, wait, am I going to be, like, right now I'm fighting for for what I want. At one point, am I just going to be like, just accept that I'm not going to get it, and I'm just going to be living in this house? Because she says, there's nothing. I mean, she says it's so lonely to live with someone. It's more lonely to live with somebody who, doesn't love you than it is to be alone, which is,
Well, she's not doing it right then.
True. I feel.
I mean, I
anyway,
totally.
That's kind of where I'm taking it. Okay,
absolutely, and I get what you're talking about, but I just again, because it's kind of difficult. Like, a lot of the relationship is not there for us to work with.
Like, they're just so beautiful. Like, I kind of want them. I like to imagine it. It's like
you want the. Well, here, let's get
to the next bit.
Well, so their future. Are you just so taken by both of them? You want them to have a baby, because who the hell knows? Like, that baby's gonna be.
I think I didn't make it to the baby part.
Well, no,
just was more interested in
them together.
Like,
well, no, like their presence, their incandescent,
incandescentness.
Wattage. Like, what kind of wattage would that baby be?
A lot.
I mean, as long as it's not throwing.
I mean, it could go horribly bad. I mean, this is the problem with genetics, right?
Well, what's gonna happen?
No, I mean, like, genetically. Okay, I'm gonna go with. It's not going to go well. I mean, I do think they're going to actually have a baby.
This took a turn.
Yeah. I mean, I think basically they are going to have a baby, and I think I think they're probably going to conceive it like that night.
Agree.
At which I think
they're going to have really, really loud sex, because I know everyone's going to be
listening. They're going to have really loud sex.
Really loud.
I think they already have loud sex.
Well, they haven't, because everyone knows about it.
Well, I'm saying, like, before the skipper died or committed suicide.
Yeah.
They're
definitely not after.
They're going to.
Did you call him the skipper?
Just the skipper too.
And the skipper's dead.
Aww. I think that I think they're gonna have. I think they already have lots, but they're gonna just they're gonna get into it. They're gonna be like that's gonna be part of the fun. Like, they're gonna have fun with the fact that they're gonna be crazy loud,
because it's also gonna upset people.
It's gonna upset people and
weirdly make other people happy. Yeah,
it's very like. Procreation is kind of confusing in this. No one likes the children.
No.
Nobody likes children in general. They seem conflicted, and yet everyone is very into having them.
Well,
which sort of goes back to this whole we want truth, but we can't handle it.
Well, yeah, Big Daddy's very happy to know that he has his lineage going on, But at the same time, though, he's just like, I hate those kids.
Oh, God. I think he is
Brick?
yeah. So I think Brick and Maggie will have a kid. I think that Goober will be screwed out of the inheritance.
Okay.
So I think that will take up some time.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how like inheritance law works as I'm trying to formulate my future, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Because like write the will. I'm like, there has to be something written down somewhere.
Oh, because at one point he's like, I do have a will.
There you go.
Big Daddy.
Oh.
And no one really knows. And even though they're like, but Goober's like, but I wrote this. I mean, first off, I think there's going to be like
so much.
They're going to spend like a lot of time and they're going to still have to take care of Big Mama. Mm-hmm. So I think that like at first, actually this baby, I think will help Brick really, and the fact that everything's now out in the open with Maggie. I think that they're going to find, like, I think that there's going to be some healing with the grief, a little bit. I think the baby,
oh, good Lord,
I think they have twins.
I hope they don't have.
I think they have twins.
Please don't tell me they named the kid Skipper.
Oh God, no! Please no.
Okay.
And I think that because it's better than Goober.
I don't wonder he has a complex.
Oh, that's the other thing. They like the kid names are also terrible.
I did
like
not.
They make fun of it at some point. But anyway,
it.
the important thing is, I think that basically they are going to move into that house. I think there's going to be a lot of legal trouble. I think that they're going to take care of Big Mama. I think that friggin' family is going to, the brother and his, nightmare of a family is going to keep coming around because they're like, we're sensibly take care of Big Mama so that and they will convince her to rewrite the will.
Right.
So I think I think that, I still think that, I think that Brick is going to keep drinking, but
I was wondering about that.
I think he is. I don't think he's going to drink as heavily.
I think he's going to stop for a little while, but then he's going to start drinking again, just to numb, but not the click.
Not the click.
Not the click, but he will numb.
And I think that they will, but I do still think that I think that whole thing will drive Maggie, just like the life will drive Maggie a little crazy. Mm-hmm. I think that he will, basically, I think that's sad. Like he will find another male lover, and then I think that Goober will use that to basically like drive, because it'll be just an outrage in the town that he'll use that.
But all of it is subtext.
And I think that he'll basically. And then I think that because of that, Maggie will feel pushed to get a divorce. And I think at that point, like, she'll kind of want to leave and she'll probably get a pretty good chunk of change. Probably in Big Mama's will because I think Big Mama will love the children.
I think so.
A lot more. Like
she already does.
Yeah, but but I think these will be the favorite grandchildren.
You can already see it. He's already.
There's a boy and a girl.
Already the favorite,
and they're going to be
son.
Yeah, they're going to be so cute and so like lovable. Because of and really really incandescent. Mm-hmm. So
it'll be the eyes.
Yeah, so I think then they'll divorce because there'll be this hour, and I really do think that I kind of think Brick will move. He'll probably move. He'll move to a bigger city, and he will. I think he'll sort of, he'll have a little cash and I don't think he'll live out his days happily, but I think he'll find like maybe a small community. I do think he'll still struggle with alcohol. Okay. I want a nice life for Paul. I want a nice life for Paul Newman. I can't quite just
give him reality.
I can't quite give him, but I think it's going to be tragic, but not like, Skid Row tragic. Okay.
Okay. Well,
I think it'll be sad.
Oh, okay. I'll make it sad. Here you go.
And I think their children their daughter will go on to write a play about dysfunctional alcoholic families.
But the son, not so much.
The son will go. I think the son will go into business with Goober.
Oh, that's
and
betrayal.
I think that that Brick will always make him feel like he like will always make him feel bad about it.
He learned nothing from his father.
He learned nothing. He will learn nothing from his father.
Okay. Well, no. I mean, like Brick learned nothing from his father.
Yeah, exactly.
You would think one drunken fight would have done it, but no.
No, not how it works.
Okay, fine.
All right, that's mine. What's yours?
Well, I agree with you that there will be some loud banging, and there will be a kid, and the kid will be like a kind of a balm to the marriage in the beginning, but then it'll get sour. Unfortunately, in this world, like Big Daddy will pass away because what he had was terminal. There will be the money. I think it's going to get split, but where most of it is going to go to Brick. And I believe what's going to happen is that they're going to stay together, but it's going to be bitter, and he's going to keep drinking. And in all honesty, I think he's just going to like slowly just be in the bottle, kind of be in the kid's life, and then eventually kind of like come out of it. But it's not going to be a happy marriage. It's not going to be happy to anything, but he's going to learn to embrace the lie.
I just came up with an additional thing. Do I get to do that? It's very short.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm done.
No, you should keep going.
That was it.
Really?
He's really unhappy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's unhappy. She's unhappy, but they have their money, so at least that's something.
And they just kind of stay
like,
in a
well,
bitter.
like, well,
it's
no,
kind of like it's like Big Daddy and Big Mama.
Yeah, no,
like
it's
she was right when she looked at her and saw like, is this my future?
Yeah,
she was right,
and that is what's going to happen, and it's just going to reinforce itself. And Maggie's going to get
only one child,
just the one.
Just the one.
He's going to go back into the drinking. He's not happy.
Yeah. I was thinking, remember I said that you're going to find that like later on he's going to have a scandal. It's going to come out and it's another homosexual. I think he starts coaching the college team and that's where it'll happen.
Oh, honey.
Well, it won't be a college student. I think it'll be like one of the assistant coaches.
That's almost better.
Yeah.
Actually,
they're
that's
the
a lot
same
better.
age or similar.
Oh, okay.
Maybe similar.
Well, when you said it's at the college, I'm just like, don't do
I
that.
know. I want to clarify. I wanted to clarify.
Clarify it faster.
Well, I'm just thinking like where, what was he going to do with his, like his career. Okay. So that was it.
That was the sadness of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Yeah.
It burned its paws.
Yes.
Okay.
It got off.
Rare.
Well, only in your story, I guess she never did.
Rare.
Well,
Are we talking about the sex again?
no. She says, what's the game plan on Cat and a Hot Tin Roof? Like what's winning? He asks her, what's winning, and she goes, staying on.
I know, and they made a baby, so
There you go. All right.
that didn't work.
No.
Yay.
All right. So so we did that.
I can't do sex jokes very well.
No. We all have its strengths.
Okay.
I can't do sex jokes very well either. I just talk about sex.
That's not funny.
Doesn't have to be.
It is when I do it. No, never mind. Okay. All right. That's it. Cat on a hat. Cat on a top. Cat on a hot tin roof. All right. We did it.
We did.
All right. We
What's
want to
next?
know what you have to think about this. What did
Yes.
we miss? What did we get right? All of it?
All of it.
All of it. Yeah. Okay.
So
So,
Paul Newman movie. Elizabeth Taylor would be another great one.
like in general as a person?
No, I mean like a theme.
Stop planning the podcast on the podcast. Okay, so you can reach us. We would like to hear from you. You can
We
reach us
would
social
love to hear
media
from you.
wise. Twitter, you can reach us at HEAMCast.
HEAMCAST.
We're on Facebook at Happily Ever Aftermath. We also, you can email us. We're at contact@heamcast.com.
We are.
Yes, and here's something that's kind of important there.
Mm-hmm.
We want to give great thanks to our sponsor, Frankie and Myrrh.
Ooh.
And it's really cool because...
Did you try anything from the Frankie and Myrrh? Did you try anything new?
I have received a shipment recently. It's really cool because
Ooh.
I like vanilla, and
Yeah.
I did get their Thrill of vanilla.
Yeah.
And 2 sprays, and Ryan said it smelled like birthday cake,
Yeah.
and he's not wrong. I myself don't like sweet, but there's something about vanilla. I can't associate vanilla with not sweet, but it's just it was just so. It just hit me just right. It just made me so happy. I'm like, honey, I found it. I found the one that I love, love, love.
Oh.
As opposed to the one where I just love.
Yeah.
Because I want to find like
So
the
that's
favorite.
like that's like your set. Like when you want to like you come home, it's kind of been a bad day. That's like that makes you feel like home.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Or just
it's awesome.
oh, I'm so glad.
It's just really cool.
Well, it's a little musky. I think especially real vanilla, not like because I think they use such high quality stuff that it's going to have all that like little muskiness and a little smokiness.
So you get into very specific elements of it where I'm just like, oh, that smells good. That's all I got.
I want to know why it smells good to me, so I can I can figure out what I will like next and what I don't like. So and what I want. Yeah.
And I make sure that I don't spray it in my eyes.
That's good. That's very good.
What's really nice is that our listeners can save 20%. Ooh. They use the code happily at checkout, save 20%, and you will also support the show.
We love that. We really appreciate it. Yeah. We're we feel very lucky that Frank Humor is our sponsor. Plus, it gives us an excuse to indulge in their products.
It's really nice. So FrankieAndMyrrh. Check them out. Thank you so much for sponsoring
and
the show.
use the promo code
happily
when you check out.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So
yes.
what's next?
What's next? All right.
What am I supposed to do next if I can't watch any more Paul Newman movies?
Well, we'll talk about that off the air. You and your theme months. I love this. I create all the theme months. You try to do a theme month. Polina.
I know.
Stop it.
Yeah, I don't get it. See how things work around here? And just do what I'm told.
And you love it.
I gotta do. It's much easier.
Yeah, there it is. We will be celebrating the wonder that is October.
Yes.
With the movie called Casper.
Perfect.
Have you seen Casper?
I have
before?
never seen Casper.
So
it wouldn't even occur to me to see Casper.
So Casper to you is the cat on a hot tin roof for me?
Well, yes. I mean, I used to watch Casper the Friendly Ghost when I was a kid.
It's a cartoon?
When I was home from work. Work for school.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
It used to be on like in the afternoon. So I'd come home from school. I might fix myself my snack.
Okay.
It was so nice. I had the whole house to myself. It was all peaceful.
Okay.
Before I went out to play, I would or did my homework. I would make my little snack, have a little time, and watch some shows.
Wait.
Sometimes it was Casper.
Wait, why am I not cutting you off? Because save this for our episode.
I don't know why you're not cutting me off. That's your job. You're not allowed to let me think.
Okay. Well, the answer to that is, I was looking it up. It's 1995.
Okay.
Casper. It is the Christina Ricci.
I love Christina Ricci.
President of the United States, Bill Pullman.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
I have seen that movie.
You have seen. Okay. Yeah. Good. And then there's Kathy Moriarty, Eric Idle, a couple of really cool cameos, but.
Oh, I like all those people.
The most important reason why I'm selecting this movie also stars Devon Sawa. But I will get into that more.
Can you much like you reminded me earlier, can we remind people who he is?
You want me to
never seen?
You want me to remind people who Devon Sawa is?
Yeah.
I don't know. I stan him.
So, okay. But are we going to be, is it just going to be the two of us?
Well, I didn't want to get too far into it, but we will be joined with a very special guest.
I'm excited about
But we'll
that.
keep that under wraps. And if it turns out planning falls flat for any reason whatsoever, we'll just say Casper is joining us.
Okay. That makes sense. He's a ghost. Though maybe I'll see this movie and I'll be like, no, that makes no sense.
I just want to jinx it.
Yeah. But, so it's is it animated or is it?
No, it's live action.
No, it's live action.
It's live action with a computer generated element.
Anything I should, is there something I should approach this with? Is there a thought,
There's some gross out humor.
Okay.
And I
so don't eat chocolate pudding or spaghetti while you're watching it.
I can't tell you how to live your life, but
wait. What? You do. We just had this whole conversation where you do tell me how to live your life, and I like it.
Only when it comes to theme months.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, so I remember this gross out humor. I'll get over it. I will hate a lot of this. We're going to watch this
I can't
movie.
wait. Oh, great. I can't wait.
I sell this so hard.
You really do.
All right. Casper, next time.
Yeah, despite everything you've heard, you should tune in.
We will see you then.
Bye.
Thank you.